This is a Headgum original.
Vroom, vroom. Beep, beep. Welcome
Holy
to the
shit.
pit wall.
Wow, the energy is high, and I love that. Let's go. Don't
We
let
should
it
get
die,
a
Casey.
like a video intro where it does like the red, 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 green, and then it's like our faces like zooming like past the like theoretical camera.
I love that. Who's gonna
That's
make
really
it?
good.
Grayson.
Okay.
coming
Don't work
back.
here anymore. Just for that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I
We
think
should, though.
that's enough to get him back here.
100%.
Welcome to the pit wall, everybody. This is an F1 podcast for casual fans. I'm your podcast principal, Casey Donahue.
Oh.
That's really cool.
Very nice.
Also
been
known
thinking
as
about that all
Speed
week.
Caser.
Yeah.
Speed Caser.
AKA
Speed
Speed
Caser.
Caser. Who else is here?
I'm Marika. Can I be the team engineer? The podcast engineer? No, I'm not the podcast engineer. That's an actual job that I don't have.
Yeah, I am that also.
Yeah. But I'm here, and that's cool.
Marika's here. Jeff, are you here?
I'm scrambling to come up with like a driver pun name.
Sorry, I thought about that since we recorded the pilot, and I was like,
Yeah,
podcast
I'll
principal,
just go
that's
because I
pretty
have one, Jeff. You take your
Okay,
time.
okay.
The Jakes are overheating. I have no Jakes. That's right. The Jake pads. That's me.
good. Jake pads.
The Jakes are
I'm
on
the-
fire.
The Jakes are on fire, man. I'm the reserve driver for the podcast.
Go Jeff you.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm
I
Joe
liked,
Grand you pun.
yeah.
I liked last week when you called yourself Plan G.
I know. I was trying to top that, but I didn't prepare
Yeah,
anything.
didn't
And there's no
do it.
G things in the sport.
Do
Yeah.
they pull any G's? Do they go fast enough to do that? I mean, they
Yeah.
break in
Oh
the
yeah,
turns.
G-force.
How about Toto
Imagine-
Jeff?
Toto Jeff is really good.
Thank you.
You can work on that. You know, it's okay.
He's
Jeff's
gone.
It's funny when you're embarrassed, you turn your video off, but it's actually just a dumber picture of your face.
Truly, he came into the Zoom and I stopped talking out of fear and immediate
It really threw us off.
horror.
Oh God.
So now that this is, officially a show, I figure it'd be a good time to maybe tell people about ourselves, why we're doing an F1 podcast, if you don't know. I'll say everybody here kind of got me into F1. We went away on a company retreat. We went go-kart racing, and I fell in love. I got the need for speed. I have become Speed Caser. I have a crash helmet right here because now I am a go-kart driver.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you've been
card
going
or-
to is it K1 or a different place?
Been going to K1 in Burbank, and my goal is to become the fastest go-kart driver in Burbank.
That's a pretty good goal, and I feel like it's achievable.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
so.
but it's
I've been putting up.
populated part of town. There are a lot of people in Burbank.
There are a lot of people in Burbank. I feel like most of them are not go-karting, and I think I will benefit from that.
And I feel like sometimes, I don't know, I've seen there's like that viral video of Carlos Sainz going to a go-karting place and just dominating. Like
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc went to one with a bunch of friends. I feel like no one's going to go to a Burbank one. So they're not going to set that highest record.
That's
that
true.
You never beat.
Maybe Latifi would go, but then you'd actually just beat him on your own merit.
Yeah.
I think I got a
so
shot
that's
against
fine.
Latifi. I think, and I think Latifi's days might be numbered in F1, but we'll get to that later.
Yes.
Yeah. I honestly think I'm as good as Latifi. I think I'm as good.
Before we get into today's race, though, let's hear from you, Marika.
Oh shit!
What's your F1 story?
I got into F1. I think Jake, you told me to watch Drive to Survive after I had gotten into endurance racing. So I went at it a little weird. Basically, watched Ford v Ferrari, was like, vroom vroom, this is crazy. And then, like, I don't know, a year later, discovered that the actor from the X-Men franchise and many other films, Michael Fassbender, was trying to get into the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So there was like a web series about that I watched and was like, this is crazy. And then I was like waking up at 5 a.m. to watch 4-hour races. And I was like, Formula One, that's for losers.
But that's exactly what you are.
Yeah, it's true. And then I watched
the long races. You know, I come from a car family. My dad used to race. He was a stock car racer before I was born.
How is this only coming out in episode 2 of the podcast? This is episode 1 material. For sure.
Sorry. I mean, he hasn't raced in years, and I have to pick up the mantle and drive a go-kart.
But you're definitely, you have it in your blood. That's why I have more faith in you to win the Burbank
Grand
there's
Prix.
no, like,
yes, thank you so much.
league, right? Mm-hmm. Is there a league?
There is a league. There is a Grand Prix coming up the first weekend of October. I will be driving in that, and I'll report back on what happens. But yeah, as far as like the long races go, you know, my dad loves racing. All he watches is the Speed Network and baseball. Those are the two things he watches. And, you know, we grew up watching NASCAR. I never got into NASCAR. The races were too long. I was too bored.
Yeah.
It's also just like a circle.
Yeah. It's just a circle.
At least like the 4-hour races that are part of like ELMS and WCE and all that kind of stuff, 4, 6, 12, 24-hour races are like all on the tracks that we watch with F1. So like there's like some interesting things that go on. But yeah, then I got into Formula One from Drive to Survive because it's full of messy drama and hot guys, and I gotta respect that.
So Jake got you into F1, it sounds like. Mm-hmm. So Jake, how did you get into F1?
It was a Drive to Survive thing. My wife told me that she heard good things about this documentary. We watched the first episode, and I was like, let's watch the second. And she was like, I'm good. And then I proceeded to watch the entire, I think 2 seasons were out at the time. So I watched 2 seasons basically by myself. Every time I took a bath, I'd watch an episode. I also got into baths during the pandemic. Shout out to tubs. And then I think at one point I was like, I really liked the show, but I hadn't watched a race. And I realized that one was on. And I didn't even watch it. I was just on my phone looking at like the live places in Google, you know, where it just like says like Ricardo running third and I was like looking at that and I was fascinated. And I was like, okay, I think I care. Maybe I'll watch a race. And then when I watched my first race, it was just lights out and away we go.
Nice.
The pomp and the circumstance, everything.
Do you
around
remember which one
fun.
it was?
I think it might have been Monaco.
Great
I think
first
that was
race
the
to
first
watch.
full one I watched. I watched part of the Spanish Grand Prix that season.
Yeah, it feels fortunate that the first one that I watched was Monaco because that's like such a storied and illustrious race.
How about
it's what you
Geoff?
want it to look like.
Everyone at Headgum was watching it, and I was like, but I assumed it was like 200 laps, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get into the like watching the races. I think it's not for me. And then my buddy Kevin, shout out Kevin, because he DM'd me after this show got greenlit, and he was like, can't help but feel partially responsible. I was skiing with him and a couple friends, and he woke up early on the Sunday to watch the race. And I watched a little bit of that race with him, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool," and like not how I thought not the racing style I thought it was. So then, as soon as I got home, I started watching Drive to Survive, and blew through it in like 4 weeks. And then I started waking up. I think I woke up for the first 2 races of this season, and then stopped doing that because they're so early. But then, as soon as the idea of doing it for a podcast came up, I was like, great, I could get paid to watch things at 6 a.m. And now I don't even know I have to wake up at 6 a.m. because you can rewatch
that is a
them.
thing that you discovered today. So
We recorded the pilot right after the race live. It was very tough for Geoff and I. The first thing we're doing in the morning.
I'm an advocate of going back to that recording schedule because that's great for me. 8 p.m. on a Sunday, that's no
Game
one
of
wants
Thrones
to do that.
is on soon.
Game of Thrones? Is it? Wow.
House of the
All right,
Dragon.
let's wrap this up. So let's go through the field.
All right,
Did
before
not
we get
finish.
into this week's race, let's touch on last week's race real quick. Marika, what do you got for us?
The Dutch Grand Prix.
Adult races. The Dutch Grand Prix. Sorry.
Hey, guy.
Oh my God.
Welcome to Marika's Corner.
Being absolutely dragged for doing homework. Yeah. I don't know if all of you watched, but a lot of conspiracy coming out of this race. Obviously, Max Verstappen won after a safety car restart. The safety car for that time was Bottas stopping. But previously, there was a safety car where Yuki Tsunoda just stopped on the side of the road suddenly and was like about to get out of his car. And then they were like, no, coming to the pits. Lots of talk about if that was planned by Red Bull.
I'll tell you why it was not planned.
It
wasn't. If you're going to plan something, the last person you plan it with is Yuki Tsunoda. Like, you plan it with a smart,
I just kind of imagined Helmut Marko like going up to Yuki at the beginning of the race and being like, you know what you have to do. And that was his plan. That was his choice.
Yeah, and
I mean,
Yuki's
obviously,
just like eating cheese doodles and like sneezes and farts at the same time, and he's like, "What? Oh my God!"
Obviously, it wasn't planned, but it was a fun thing to think about over the weekend. The real drama of the race is that now I consider George Russell enemy number one. He's a little snake. I don't trust him anymore.
Why?
Because during the second safety car, Max pitted for softs. George's engineer, over the radio, was like, "The safety car is going through the pit lane. You're going to follow it. Do not stop." And he was like, he literally says, "Why not?" And then is like, "Let's stop. Let's put on the softs. I'm coming in. Let's put on the softs." And his engineer's like, "Stop, stop, stop. Box, box, box." He puts on the softs and then immediately is able to pass Hamilton, his teammate, who was in
evil. That makes him smarter than his strategist.
Well,
and they should have done the same thing to Hamilton.
Well, they couldn't box Hamilton because he was going to lose. They were worried about him losing
track position,
and
which was not smart, obviously.
Yeah, the thing that was weird about George is like they were doing that with the conceit that George would be able to hold up Max.
Right, which also is stupid to think because it was Max
basically
jumps like 10 positions at a
have
time in a lap. So like, what's going to happen? George Russell is going to hold up Max Verstappen and Hamilton wins? No, George Russell holds up Max Verstappen for 0.8 seconds and then he passes them both.
It was a situation where they like should have done the same thing with George and Hamilton, and they just didn't.
Yeah.
And Hamilton was like literally like the angriest I've ever heard him over the radio. He was like, "You fucked me."
Yeah, rightfully so. Rightfully so.
He was still like calm and composed as he was.
Yeah, I mean, even after the races, like I was watching post race interviews, and he was so like nice in his post race interviews. He was just like, so positive. He was like, this is a really great thing for the team. Like, so many positives from this weekend.
Yeah, but you have to read
he's
through
like,
the lines on that.
good.
Like he thanked everybody except the strategists. Like thanks his pit crew. Thanks
he was like going off about the pit crew.
Yeah,
he was like, they were so good.
Right. And I think that's like, my mom used to do that to me when I was in trouble. She would like talk about how good Micah was. And then like, oh man, I fucked up. So,
Yeah.
but I agree with him that he should have been mad. I would be mad too.
It was mostly the other weird thing about the George of it all, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but like, he told his engineers, no, I'm like not following your instructions. And like all of today, every commentator kept like piling on Ferrari for like asking their drivers questions, which weren't even like questions. They were just like, confirm this, that you're gonna do
you like
this.
Plan C, do you like that? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, it was like it wasn't like asking them for like strategy.
Advice.
It was like
I feel like
confirm.
Ferrari did that because there's like they're just getting so much flack. So it's like, we weren't stupid.
But that
Charles
got them
agreed
more
with us.
flack for all of today. They were like, wow, Ferrari's still asking their drivers for advice. But like
Totally.
no one said this about George on that race. So that pissed me off. Also, the very last thing is at the end, or after George passed Hamilton, there was just a shot of Toto taking off his glasses, moving his microphone up. And it was like, he's done. And then when Max won, Christian Horner came over the radio and was like, great to see your dad's helmet win this race or something, because I guess he was wearing his dad's helmet. And it was like basically kind of a dig at his dad, who deserves it. But then Max was like, my dad finally won a race, haha. Which I thought was funny.
My God. And
that
then
was
Christian Horner was like, I'll blow you in the trailer later.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Max was like, I know. And then they hung up.
Also, poor Carlos Sainz with his terrible pit stop. Where he was just like, oh my God, and over the radio. And then also Checo running over the wheel gun that they left out because they just like lost a tire.
Sloppy.
So
It
bad.
was so sloppy.
That image of Checo running over the wheel gun, to me, is like Ferrari and Red Bull 2022 all wrapped up in one moment.
Yeah. A true comedy of errors. But that race, definitely a push in terms of drama.
Yeah, I gave last week a push for sure.
Was definitely a push. I hated the result, but it was a push.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Jeff did not watch it, but he did watch today's race. Usually we're joined by Andrew Pile, but he is traveling today, I believe. So we had him send over a prediction.
I thought I was going to get away with not having to hear his voice.
Okay, everybody, sorry I couldn't be there this week, but here's my prediction for Monza 2022. So the Queen is dead. Long live Sir
God.
Lewis Hamilton. That's right. P19 to P1. He's going to do it. He's done it before, I think. And I think he's going to take it all this week, powered by Dead Monarch Energy. GB needs a big win, and I think Lewis is going to do it. Despite being at the back of the grid, I think he'll make it happen. Not sure how yet. As far as Russell, I think my other prediction is he will probably cry this race.
I think that one came true.
He probably did.
Probably cried on the podium
P3?
for sure.
Yeah.
With the Dead Monarch thing. I think that would be crying Russell vibe.
Of all the drivers on the grid, George Russell absolutely would have cried if he didn't cry for the Queen. Like, no one would cry for the Queen more than George Russell.
Did you guys see the
George
Williams
is emotional.
had it had an RIP Queen Elizabeth thing.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pure class from Williams.
Pure class. And did you notice that Alfa Romeo didn't say anything? What?
the moment of silence at the beginning of the race went on for so long that it cut into half of the Italian national anthem. Like there was
Doesn't
a
that
sound
say it
issue.
I didn't notice that. I wasn't sure if there was a problem with my TV or something, but they just were extending the silence for the Queen. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. a legend.
A
I would
legend.
say
Love
dead
Monza
monarch
2022.
energy, like people say big dick energy.
Yeah. Which I think was good.
You know Lewis Hamilton? Dude has dead monarch energy.
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Sir,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
That's, yeah.
So
I like
yes,
this.
the Queen did die this week, but racing lives on in Italy at Monza.
Unlike the Premier League, they didn't hold this race up.
Apparently, they thought about it, but they did the right thing by doing what the
Yeah.
Queen would have wanted them to do, which was
She would have
drive
wanted
as
them
fast
to
as
race at
possible.
Monza.
yeah.
The Queen was a Tifosi after all.
So Monza, let's go down the grid. 4 drivers did not finish this week.
I love that.
Sebastian Vettel, Fernando
Love it.
Alonso,
Sad.
Lance Stroll,
Love it. Love it.
and Danny Rick.
What's that?
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, there were basically 2 did not finishes that I was indifferent about and 2 that I was sad about.
Yeah.
Sad about Stroll, as
Why?
always.
No
Obviously.
way.
Because he has had talk about Mr. Consistency. Stroll has finished in every single race that he's started. He had the longest streak going of any driver on the grid, I believe, and no longer. R.I.P. to a real one, and I'm not talking about the Queen.
Yeah. And you are a stroll troll, so
I always have been, and I always will be.
yeah, Vettel's DNF made me sad.
Yeah, that one was really
That was a bummer.
He's like Ferrari driver, his last Monza, a lot of fans there. It was a bummer. Danny Ricks didn't make me sad, it just made me angry. We'll get
my
to
That one
that.
made me sad. After winning last year at Monza,
Yeah.
I feel like. Do you guys feel like Danny? I just keep on wanting him to race well with the chip on his shoulder, but I think he actually only races well when everybody loves him and supports him.
I think
like-
so.
It seems that way.
He cannot like win out of anger, like I imagine a lot of these guys can.
Yeah.
I
Did you
can't
see-
really picture Daniel Ricciardo angry, really. He's such a smiley guy.
Yeah. Did you guys see his helmet? That had the photo of his face on it. That was oh my god, the GP driver, like an homage to one of his helmets. But there was a shot like when he was still in the car and it was parked. It was just like his car and then the photo on his helmet peeking through. And it was really funny.
God, no, I did not see that, but it sounds sad.
He's very sad and a very annoying safety car. Which
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
you know, the
But it
end of
had
the
the
race-
potential. I don't blame Danny for that. I blame the FIA.
Of course.
Yeah.
To Jake's point, they should have red flagged. And it could have, like,
Yeah.
it would have been really exciting, actually, and we would have thanked Danny for that because that's just a, race to the finish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
notice at the end of the race, Mattia had a lot to say about the safety car.
The only spoiler I got on my phone was Ferrari upset. And I stopped reading there at FIA. So I was like, well, I know something didn't go well.
Tell you what, it makes me feel a little bit for Michael Massey. Like they basically followed the rules this race and everybody is upset. And
Yeah.
he broke the rules in Abu Dhabi and everyone was upset.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a
There's
weird.
not really a right way to do it.
there,
I mean, that one had a lot more stakes on it, which,
Yeah.
that's a bad time to bend the rules for sure.
yeah.
But it is
Toto-
still like,
Toto had some
It's-
words. Christian
Yes.
Horner had some words. It is funny that it's like Max won with both of these situations that were
Yeah.
advantageous to him.
yeah. Tell you what, though, I think that they should institute a rule that is like, if there's less than 5 laps and there's a safety car, like it should just be a red flag.
Yeah.
Because like they
Yeah.
should just be
Yeah.
allowed to race. That's like what you do for the fans. That's like a new rule that
Yeah.
they should institute. You shouldn't be able to finish under a safety car.
I also kind of
Absolutely.
think, I mean, we'll probably get into this more, but the virtual safety cars, maybe let's not let people pit. I don't know. Just a thought. It seems kind of dumb.
Yeah.
I can see the argument for both sides. I thought it made today's race kind of interesting to watch strategically because Charles pit and changed his tires, and they went from, what was it, soft to hard or to medium, and the thinking was at the end of the race it'll beat Max. So I like when a virtual safety car comes out and they have to make that decision. The part of what I like about watching the races is how the strategy unfolds.
Yeah.
I never
I
know
like
what
that.
plan A through Z is, but I'm always interested when they're like, where I'm playing C now. It's like, what was A and B? You know?
Yeah, I'm totally. I just think like for a full safety car, like I enjoy watching that, but like the virtual safety car, I don't know, the fact that they have to go at like a delta of their speed as opposed to like consistent speed or something like that it makes it a little frustrating sometimes. Like today when Charles pitted and then the safety cars stopped in the middle of that, so he lost some of the advantage.
That virtual safety, like, because a real safety car, does it have to go at least one full lap or something? Because it has to go back into the pit lane, right?
Yeah,
I don't know
And the virtual
rules in
one
terms of-
seemed like it was just on for a second. It's like yellow flag, virtual safety car. Never mind, it's fine.
Yeah.
And they can just turn it off like that. That seems like not entirely fair.
Yeah, if they could just turn it off, if they change their mind for that. But at the end of the race, when there was an actual safety car, it seemed like they couldn't change their mind and do a red flag when they had to bring a fucking crane out onto the track to
So stupid.
lift the car. It was kind of absurd.
I hated to see that.
Yeah.
Like, it was grating to watch the fucking crane going like,
Yeah.
and before that, even just like four guys just standing there.
Yeah, they're
I'm like,
truly
worst-
like,
yeah.
we
So you knew,
can't do
so that's why
anything.
you red flag. And
Yeah.
The worst was like when they had stopped even trying to push the car and they were all just standing near it, like sitting on the barrier. It's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
there's nothing we can do. It's like, well, then stop. Everyone
that's when you
stop,
call
right?
the red flag. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Let's keep moving down this grid. Let's cover really quickly the next 4 drivers who all lost. They were plus 1 lap. Kevin Magnussen, Nicholas Latifi, Yuki Tsunoda, Valtteri Bottas.
Love it.
Yeah.
I don't love that. I mean,
Me either.
I feel
That's
for
a no.
I feel for Valtteri. I love Valtteri, and it's sad to see him struggle so much in his car.
It was interesting.
He shouldn't necessarily, because you was doing a little bit better.
There was one moment of the race where the commentators were like, and it's Lewis Hamilton in P19, like with his old teammate like right behind him, and I was like, oh, that is crazy, because literally like even 2 years ago it was 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 to a boring degree, and now look at them, fuckers.
Yeah,
I did feel bad for Bottas. I think K-Mag got like hit at the beginning of the race from behind, and that kind of like damaged his car for the rest of the race.
Sure.
Bit of a bummer.
yeah.
No, it's a bad car and he's a bad driver. I'm sorry to say, but since Kevin Magnussen came back, he's been garbage.
No, he's
That's
been
not true.
pretty good.
No, it's not true. I was kidding.
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot of catch up here.
Yeah.
Latifi, I think, is he's the equivalent of me driving in the Williams. We would every single race we would have placed the same.
I was going to say I feel bad for Latifi just because I'm like, I think he's done. I think today with Nick DeVries,
Yeah.
putting the Williams into points on his first ever drive that he got told yesterday he was driving.
My
like,
boy.
Latifi's got to
My
go.
king.
That guy
Obviously.
is out of here.
It's not the car. It's the guy.
was
Isn't it?
truly-
The guy.
It was great to watch. I don't remember where Latifi started, but Nick DeVries started
right?
8th. Where did he start?
I thought he started 10th. He started pretty high up.
Yeah, but it was truly just like DeVries holding position for laps and laps, and then slowly Latifi just, not even slowly, it took like 4 laps, falling.
Yeah.
Immediately Carlos jumping ahead of him. Like, it was truly great to watch those little names.
Yeah, I wonder what all of the other drivers think about Latifi. Do they consider him a driver? Are they like, yeah, he's one of us? Or are they like, who is this guy? Are they like me?
I mean, some of them like grew up racing with him, like we talked about last time. Like,
Yeah, it just feels
But-
like Latifi just started driving like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, I could tell you as a driver myself, I have
There's
nothing
no
but
way.
respect for everyone on the grid in the go-karting division. So I imagine they all have respect for Latifi, but at the same time,
of course.
this,
Motor racing is all about respect.
Yeah.
It's respect and speed are the 2 major tenets.
yeah,
Honestly, you're joking, but it's kind of true.
It's true for the drivers in F1, but Casey, didn't you pants like a tween at K1 when we were in Phoenix?
Oh yeah, I read about that in the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did get covered.
There was
in
like
local
somebody
news.
was 2 people were celebrating like a B'nai Mitzvah, and you like pantsed one of them and intentionally like sort of
Yeah.
egged the other one on.
in
played
my
the defensive
defense,
game.
I thought I was pantsing Dane, but you know,
And he did deserve it.
Yeah.
next up on the grid, Nick Schumacher in at 12th. I got nothing really to say about
I have
These
one thing in
jeans
my
weren't made for
notes.
driving. I'm sorry, but you can't just be Michael Schumacher's kid and like think you're good at it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a bad car, but there was that one turn where he passed
Yeah.
Latifi in
Yeah,
like spectacular
it was
fashion, but
so
it like
good.
almost looked like it was an accident. Like he
Yeah.
locked up, lost control of the car, but like as he was swerving to avoid a barrier past Latifi,
Yeah, it was.
and it looked like good driving. But I
Really
wonder if it was on
iconic.
purpose.
The commentators were saying that it was only because Latifi let him in. Otherwise, it would have been a full-on collision.
Really, God, I would have loved that.
in his post race, I had I have a note in my notes that says Mick with a sexy overtake on Latifi with a lockup. But in his post race interview, he was like, "Yeah, my tires were gone at that point, so I just had to push and like get past it. Otherwise, it would have just been more tire deg over time." Proud of him. It was like kind of an Alonso move. It was cool. It was cool to see him do it.
11th on the grid. We had Esteban Ocon.
No idea what he did the entire race.
Yeah, they didn't show him at all.
Yeah, I think at one point, I forget, there was like somebody that tried to pass him and couldn't, and that was basically all I saw of Ocon.
Well, I feel like from Ocon to like Norris for a while, there was like a really long DRS train.
Yeah.
And like, like Carlos got past them. I think Checo got past them, but everyone else was just kind of like there.
Yeah.
10th on the grid, first in 1 point. First in the points from, if you're counting down the way I am,
Right.
Zhou Guan Yu.
No Guan Yu. That's how
Great
you
job.
pronounce it. It's not that
Yes.
hard.
Yeah. Decent race for him for an Alfa Romeo home race at Monza. You love to
Yeah.
see it. Happy for
I think
him.
they should call it Beto Romeo.
Yeah, because these guys are little
Yeah.
betas. They're such
Yeah.
subs.
Yeah.
9th, we have Nick DeVries' first race.
Guys.
My driver of the day.
Guys.
Yeah. Go off, Marika.
No
Go
offense,
off.
but I love Nick DeVries. I've loved him for a long time. He's my favorite Formula E driver.
Wow.
Truly only he was doing ELMS last year. And it was like one of the names that they said enough that I remembered it.
Yeah.
So when I went to the New York E-Prix, the Formula E race, I was like, I know him. And then I was just like, he's my favorite driver now. He did not win.
Seemed
He
like
did
a guy
pretty
you
bad.
you would have been able to like see him at Brooklyn Bowl that
Yeah.
night after the race.
Yeah.
Like he's around.
Yeah.
Would you see him at Brooklyn Bowl? How old is he?
27.
Oh, wow. I thought he was
Absolutely.
17.
Major Brooklyn
He
Bowl.
does.
Major
He does look
Brooklyn Bowl.
very young.
They did make a point to say that he's been around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
said he'd
and
been
then
around.
so he was Formula E world champion 2021, won in like a race that 5 people could have been the world champion in,
Wow.
which is pretty fun. And then last year he did Le Mans, and I distinctly remember I was like rooting for his car number 26. Watched a good portion of it in the morning, was like, I'm gonna go on a little bike ride. Went on a bike ride, came back, his car crashed, out of the race.
Of course.
Of course this happened. But redemption happened in that when I went to Le Mans this year, there was an old man driver that like got in trouble with the FIA because he caused too many crashes, and so they kicked him out of the race. And I was at the drivers parade thing that goes on through the town, and everyone's like holding up signs with like each team and the drivers, and his Nick DeVries's name was on a thing, and he like wasn't supposed to be driving, and I was like, this is huge. I get to see Nick DeVries do Le Mans, and he didn't crash this time. It was literally the same situation as this. He got called in the day before and happened to be there because he was a reserve driver for like one of the hypercar teams, but just hopped into a completely different type of car and crushed it.
Wow. So
And
why was
so-
he in Monza? He's a reserve driver for Williams now? Like was he
Alex Albon had appendicitis.
Yeah, but he's usually
That's
like
right.
in the Mercedes garage.
shout out to Albon.
Yeah, he's doing
Rest in
great.
peace, by the way, too. I
Yeah.
think he
To his
Oh, he
appendix.
and the Queen both passed, right? It burst.
Yeah.
So he's passed on. Amazing. Congratulations. Job
He
well done.
he had such a good
DNF
tweet that
for
was
life.
like, good news or bad news. I have to miss Monza. Good news. Weight reduction for Singapore.
Wow.
But yeah, Nick DeVries is usually in the Mercedes garage because he drove for Mercedes for Formula E. I think
I've seen him
I don't
sitting
think
next
he's-
to Toto
yeah,
before.
he's always looking like a small child next to Toto
Yeah, and a
during the
snack.
race. Yeah. But I think for FP1 did FP1 for Aston Martin.
Yes.
For some reason. And then by FP3 got called in to be the Williams reserve driver and crushed it. So
Yeah.
proud of him.
Incredible.
What a little
Yeah.
gem. He had to be helped out of his car at the end of the race.
'Cause of his
which
shoulders.
was
Tie-tie?
yeah, he was like, I can't lift my arms. Pierre Gasly comes over, and it looks like you think he's going to help him out of the car, but he just like pats him and gives him a little hug. And he's just like, help. I love him. So proud of him. What a gift. What a dream for me personally to see him succeed.
Yeah, I would love to see him driving full time next season. Maybe with Williams. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I just can't imagine who he would replace, but yeah, totally.
Eighth today was Pierre Gasly.
You know, he's there.
He kind of
Yeah.
got fucked behind Daniel Ricciardo the whole time.
Yeah.
Gaz put on the gas at the
Yeah.
end, though.
It was kind of fun to see him up pretty high at the beginning because he start. I feel like he started like 4th or something crazy, but probably not.
Oh, yeah. He was up high, though. I think you're right.
He wasn't 4th. That was Daniel
6th.
Ricciardo.
Right.
I actually can't wait for Daniel Daniel Ricciardo to not be in Formula One because I'm so attached to him emotionally, and he disappoints me every time.
Right.
So I can just go full Tifosi as soon as he's out.
Yeah.
True.
It does feel like he, people thinking that he should go to another team like Alpine or like, you don't want to, he's in a good car, basically.
Yeah.
The McLaren,
goes-
it's not a great car, but it's,
The Alpine's
it's
not better.
Norris is competitive
The
in it.
Alpine is definitely better than the McLaren right now.
Really?
Like yeah. Like,
But not by a lot, really. Like I thought they're competing this season.
yeah, they're competing, but
Yeah.
Alpine is like winning that competition currently. I feel.
Alpine is currently
But they
beating
didn't-
McLaren for 4th.
Yeah.
By how many?
Alpine has 125, McLaren has 107.
And who's gonna
not
who's
bad,
gonna
though.
leave out Alpine? They're not gonna swap Ocon for Ricardo.
Alonso's leaving, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Alonso's going to Aston Martin. So there's an open seat at Alpine, but it's not going to be Ricardo. People think that Gasly's going to go to Alpine, which would be crazy because he and Ocon hate each other.
also the AlphaTauri they were saying is one of the fastest cars.
It's like it's doing pretty well, like all things considered. I think if Ricardo's going to go anywhere, I feel like it's going to be Haas.
If he's going to go
Which-
anywhere, it's going to be DJing in Cancun.
That's cool. Or Ibiza.
Sure. Yeah. Either one. I just don't think I bless him. I love Ricardo. I just don't feel like he needs to be in a Formula One car anymore. He's he's proven
Yeah.
what he needed to prove.
I
And
want
I
him to
don't think
go-
it's going to get better for him.
I want him to go to Formula E. I think it'd be fun.
So Formula E. Also, some of the comments we got on this show, the feedback was like maybe explaining some of the things we're talking about. This is a perfect in because I don't know what Formula E is. It's just electric cars.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
It's pretty fun. The races are literally 45 minutes. Like it's 45 minutes and a lap are the races. There's 2 each weekend that they do it. Electric cars, so they don't really they don't have to stop. They used to up until pretty recently had to stop and change batteries during the race.
17-second
to.
pit stop.
But it's kind of like watching a Mario Kart race. Like something weird happens every time that I
That's
watch a
fun.
race.
Are there like
And I don't
turbo
watch it.
zones that they go over?
Yeah, like quite literally there's oh man, I can't remember the name of it, but there's in every race a zone where they can get a speed boost for 4 minutes or something, but they
That's
have to
awesome.
drive through it, and so they lose some track position for that.
They're all on mushrooms.
And then also you can vote for your favorite drivers to get a fan boost. So the top 5 voted for drivers get a fan boost that they can use at the end of the race.
That's so funny.
It's really wild.
That's incredible.
That's a lot of fun.
Where do you watch Formula E?
CBS, and it's not great coverage, but it's there. So I don't really watch it on TV, but I have been to the New York E Prix for the past 2 years, which is
You have to watch it live.
Yeah, it's fun.
I imagine it's got to be real quiet.
It
all
is
the
quiet.
electric cars.
It's kind of like all of a sudden you hear I don't know, it's kind of like a zzz type of sound coming around this race when we went. Every time the cars got closer to us, the speakers cut out for some weird reason. So it was you could tell they were coming when someone stopped talking. It's really weird. It's great though. No notes.
7th on the grid, we have Lando Norris. Thumbs down from Geoff.
My boy. I don't know. I wasn't really he wasn't doing much this race, but
I think
He had a
somebody's
bad
got to
pit
spank
stop.
his ass.
he's nasty on the comms. He says, "No comms, please. I'm busy."
Oh,
like,
I
fuck off.
loved
You're in
that.
seventh.
I loved that.
Why
really
do you
love
love
that.
that, Marika?
It's first of all, Max has done that before, and
Max sucks. We all agree.
We all love Max.
Yeah.
Oh, Max does that, right?
Nobody's
Good.
done that before, and it was like really rude. Like, I don't know, if someone's
Yeah, exactly.
talking to you and it's towards the end of the race, and you're like, I just need to finish this.
I'm busy is what
Yeah.
he
It
said.
was in the
Like,
middle of the race. It
I'm
wasn't.
busy.
It wasn't the end of the race.
It was a little close to the end.
No, he was. He's
I
a
think there
dick.
were like
He's a
20
dick.
laps
There's
left.
no.
Not.
You can like that he's a dick, but you can't say he's not a dick. He's
Yeah.
a little bit of a dick.
I think he's just a literal child. Like, I don't know. I think there's a difference. Like, Max is like genuinely rude, has punched people. I think Lando just like doesn't know how to behave, which I find funny.
You should know how to behave by like 19 or 20, whatever.
course,
he is. No, he's
but-
22.
Yeah, but
He's
also
22
like
or 23.
look at their lives.
Yeah, it's okay. He grew up rich. Don't be mad at him for being an asshole.
They all grew up this way, and not all of them are like this.
No, I'll stop defending him. I got in trouble in the comments last time.
That
I
was
defended
so
him.
funny. We have to talk about that. Somebody said that you, like Lando, have spoiled child energy. There's no way.
Yeah, it's really the opposite of my whole aura, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
You said you
find it
talked
really
about
funny.
it in therapy.
Yeah, my therapist had to cancel last week, but this week, for sure, I'm gonna bring it up. Yeah. I don't know. He was just kind of there,
yeah.
doing his little thing in his little orange car.
He did make a mistake. There was McLaren kind of fucked him with the pit time, and he ended up.
The 5 second
back.
stop,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Sixth place, we have Sergio Perez.
What can I
Yeah.
say? You know, he's there.
He's
He did
there.
He had a good. He kind of does like a tenth of what Max can do. Like he like worked his way up the grid, and Max did it in 2 laps, and he did it in like 20 or 30 laps.
Yeah, how different are the cars between the drivers? I know they, like, in qualifying and in maybe not qualifying, but in the practices when I watch them, they're always testing out different equipment. So when it comes to race day, are they driving identical cars, or are they giving the drivers different equipment?
I think it
great
depends
question.
on where we are in the season, because like Max had a penalty because he had to get new engine parts and that sort of thing. So I feel like they strategize like when they make those changes to each car. But people also describe like being on an F1 team as like having the same car and competing with your teammate the most.
Yeah.
So I think it's like overall similar, but I don't know, people, they also experiment with like different setups for downforce, which I don't know what that is, and stuff like that.
Downforce is slowing down. It's into the turns. You want good downforce. If you don't, I think that's what causes a little bit of the porpoising, a little bit of locking up. Please keep in
course.
mind, I read this once when I Googled it like 3 months ago. So if I'm wrong, just look it up yourself, you know?
Yeah. I'll look it up afterwards because I don't
We're all
necessarily.
spoiled children. Don't add us.
But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, Checo's brakes were on fire
Yeah.
immediately.
Yes.
He pitted on lap 7 to change to hards. I also really liked that multiple times Red Bull was like looking at Ferrari's pit wall and like looking at their tires. There was like
Yeah.
that shot of a guy just like peeking over there. And it's like,
Yeah,
what
he
are
was
you
just-
doing? But you know,
Look, you got to get an advantage any way you can get it in the world
It's
of
the Red Bull
racing.
philosophy.
it's true.
Fifth place, Lewis Hamilton.
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Sir Lewis Hamilton driving for the Queen's honor.
You know, he said in his post-race interview that it was kind of a bummer of a race for the first parts, and then things started to pick up, but he was like a little frustrated at the beginning, which fair. Carlos in a similar position as him, but really tore through the field.
Ooh.
We'll talk about it.
But also, I don't know, like both he and Carlos made up equal amounts of places by the end of the race, I believe. 14 places. Max was like, he had what, a 10 place deficit last race, and everyone was like, look at this fucking guy go, this is crazy. Like, this was way more
'cause
impressive than Max.
But Max does it in less time.
Yeah,
Max
but it was still
did that in like 7 laps.
Yeah, but Carlos also did this very fast. Like, he got through
Yeah, but
at
I think
least
the notion
like
that
6
like
people.
I do think that Max is operating on in a different league. It seems like he's driving a better car than everybody. It seems like there's something, I don't know. It just doesn't even feel like it's competitive after Max.
I don't know. I feel like he is driving a better car.
Max is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hands down, it's a better car. He is a really good driver, but like he made up multiple of those places at the start of the race just from whatever
Within,
tomfoolery was going
the
on.
first 3
Lando
laps.
Corner. Yeah, like Lando, yeah, he had a bad start. Like, I don't know. I think this race was way more impressive, and I think they should have spent more time talking about how Carlos, specifically, also Hamilton, because like at the end he was really like getting ahead of people quickly, but like
My jaw was dropped at some of these moves.
I would,
that
Yeah.
Sainz was doing.
4th place, Carlos Sainz, since we're talking about
Yeah.
him. He was one of my favorite drivers to watch today.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I know,
he's
we
so
said
good at overtaking.
Max,
he was like
yeah,
one
can
of
do
the
it so quick.
highest overtakers last season.
But yeah, Carlos is fun to watch drive. I think he's a good racer.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he had. I don't know who won driver of the day, but I think he
Nick
should have won
DeVries.
driver of the
DeVries.
day.
De Vries.
And I voted for Carlos, and that was a very hard
Yeah.
decision for me.
DeVries had a great race, but he wasn't driver of the day. He was driver of his day. It was great. He was a driver of the debut. But
Nice.
Carlos, I
that's
think,
good.
Carlos had just an all-time perfect race, and the safety car fucked him because he really deserved the
I
podium.
wanted to see him on
Yeah.
the podium.
Yeah.
And I
He
think
really
that would
was
have
like
happened.
attacking. Like you'd think he was like
Yeah.
overtake, all right, settle in there, then overtake
It was
when it's
gonna be-
ready. It was overtake. Holy shit,
Yeah.
he's gonna
Yeah.
go for it, overtake, all clean.
Truly,
he wanted it.
Yeah.
I had by lap 1 he was up to 16th place. Lap 2 he passed Checo. He was up to 10th place by lap 6.
He was picking him off.
Yeah, like that's
His move
so
in the beginning
good.
where he overtook 2 cars at once in the first corner, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a traffic jam, but I mean, it was
he just was like,
he deserved to fight. Like it was gearing up to be like a real fight for the finish with him and Russell. I think he had gotten it was like, there were like 7 or 8 laps left, and he had the time difference down to like 8 or 9
he was
seconds or something
yeah,
like that.
it was like every lap 1.5 second it's
Yeah.
up on him.
And he was in
would've been
he was
an
in
amazing
third
finish.
right before the safety car, and then he pitted. Or no, Russell
Was he?
pitted,
No.
and then they were like,
Yeah, he
shouldn't
pitted
pit.
at the same time as Russell.
he shouldn't have done
They
that.
were debating. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. If he didn't pit, if he had stayed out,
would've been on the
then
podium.
yeah,
Yeah.
Also, he was like, his pace was good to your guys' points on the tires he was on, and they were like 8 laps or 12 laps or something old. Like, he would have been fine for the last 5.
Yeah.
I think that was a
he should have
Ferrari
stayed
mistake.
out. Always.
Yeah, it was both his and Charles's interviews were like, I'm upset. Like everyone
Yeah.
else was like, this race was fine.
Sorry, I'm being real.
the shock
That
in
was
your
real.
voice. That was real.
I've never seen anyone be real in the moment like that.
That's what the app's all about, Marika.
Yeah. I don't have it because I hate that.
I also don't have it.
I did have it for 3 days. I posted twice, and I thought it was maybe one of the worst apps ever, with some of the most unmerited buzz. So I deleted it.
Speaking of unmerited buzz, George Russell in third place.
Boo.
Yeah, I'm pissed at him. And he was fine this race.
Where did he start?
He started number 2.
Yeah. And
Number
two.
he almost overtook Charles at the beginning. It was a little scary for a second.
That was close.
Also, the commentators were saying that he had a better start, but then like the start infographic showed up and Charles did, quite literally.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the way they reacted to it too, they're like, Russell had a better start, and then they showed it. They showed the infographic that Charles did, and they were like, yeah, you can see that right there.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about, guys? You absolutely got it wrong.
Yeah, he.
I think this
fine.
is a lucky podium.
Yeah, I do
The
too.
safety car really helped him out here.
Yeah, because where did he qualify too? He qualified much lower. He was only in second to start because of all the penalties.
Yeah, I think he must have qualified fourth because it was Charles, Carlos, Max, Russell. Maybe.
I think so.
Could be wrong.
Yeah.
Second place, Charles Leclerc.
The saddest boy.
So sad. I think it was Monza all week. They were showing off those.
Nice.
Marika's showing off her Leclerc sweater. They put on those those nice
little minion
yellow
costumes.
Yellow tracksuits.
Honestly, the black fire suits underneath were fire suits.
They look
nice.
great.
Thanks.
And I think both Charles and Carlos wanted to win 1-2 very badly.
Yeah.
So seeing how bummed he was for coming in second I was like, I feel that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was especially bummed too because of the way the safety car worked out. Because to basically be like, I'm going to be in second, and then a glimmer of hope, and then that gets dashed too. It ain't right.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think he would have won, even with.
Yeah, he wouldn't have.
But he didn't even have the chance.
He would have had a chance. Yeah.
A chance.
Yeah, you want to see
funny
the
to be like,
drive.
he would have gone toe to toe with Max. Like, he's been doing that, and Max beats him, so it's not like it really matters. But it's weird to me that in qualifying, they're more competitive than they seem to be in the races.
Ferrari's very good at a single lap and then past that.
Also, what a beautiful track! Like the red, white, and green chicanes. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the chicanes are the type of turn.
Turn,
that
yeah.
Kind of go like
it's like
this.
an S.
Then there's hairpins.
Whatever the fucking side thing is called. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous,
Rumble
Marika.
strips. Yeah.
Rumble strips.
the rumble
That's
strips.
exactly right. That was a
I
test.
tell you, I'd love to drive a go-kart around that track for sure.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
For sure. I wonder if that's one of the tracks that's open to the public. Probably not, right?
It is.
And I think we all wish we were a
Monza.
little less curious.
It's a park that's open to the public, Monza.
Should we go?
Yeah, you could go when they're not doing Formula One. I don't know what happens on that track. Maybe it's just
It's
people.
not monster trucks, but they do
walking
Monza
around.
trucks.
That's really good.
Thank you.
I thought it was like a walking path.
Finally, in first place. Oh, you know him, you love him, you love to hate him. Max Verstappen.
Crap Verstappen.
That's
Max
really good.
Vercrappen.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love to see him booed. I know that it's bad I know that.
Who cares? Boo him.
I mean, I don't like when his fans boo Lewis Hamilton. I don't like their whole vibe at Zandvoort.
Maybe it's the American in me.
I know
Yeah.
the
But
Tifosi
you boo
were.
athletes.
Yeah, but it is different. I think they're upset, rightfully so, because of the way the race ended.
Yes.
And that's
for
not
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
I think, I would forgive a little bit of booing just based on this.
Yeah.
If he won fair and square, like under a safety car or something, and they booed, I think that wouldn't be right.
That's how I feel. I did think it was really funny how many red flares went off to the point where you couldn't really see the podium.
It's nice that
Why are they doing the
they
flares?
waited
It's so
to the
weird.
end to set off the flares.
Yeah, you gotta. Otherwise, the visibility, that acrid stench, terrible.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, Max basically has made racing a little less interesting. So that's not great.
Yes. One of my friends texted me last week and was like, next week is going to suck. And then immediately
Yeah.
after the race was like, yep.
The way that I told some of you guys about like Formula One, if I was telling my friends about Formula One now and they were watching a race and they'd be like, does one guy always win by a minute? And I'd have to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One guy does usually win by a whole minute.
Yeah.
But if you ignore him, it's kind of fun.
Pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, there's.
Did you see the Bottas did not finish?
Yeah, it's. I think the thing about getting into the sport, since after all, this is a podcast for casual fans, people that are probably new, don't know. They know less about what they're talking about than we do, hopefully, and they don't
Can't
look
imagine.
anything up, and they
I
just
can't imagine.
take our word for it. The joy of watching these races, like this season for me, my first season watching,
Yeah.
is less. I mean, you always want to see a tight finish for the win, but I am finding joy in like watching Carlos Sainz today. Like,
Yeah.
knew
Yeah.
he wasn't going to win the race, but watching someone drive like that is just as exciting as like Charles and Max head to head.
You learn to
going
love
for
the
finish.
midfield.
Yes.
Top
Yeah.
of the mid. But yeah, I can learn to love that.
There's also like a vibe to every race, kind of like with the, we'll get to it in our last segment, but like, or one of our last segments, but this one had fun vibes to me. There was a lot of overtaking. There was a lot of position changes. Carlos blazing through to P3, P4, P3 ish, was fun to watch. And like Casey said, Carlos is a fun driver to watch. I think there was also a lot of people that were like, why all the Checo hate? He's not a fun driver to watch.
Yeah,
And it's
he
also
just-
not fun to watch Max front run for so
Yeah.
long, especially knowing that he sucks as a person.
I think watching Checo can be fun. Like watching Checo defend, I think is fun.
Yeah, but
Checo has
he's
his
defending
moments where he
because of
For
Max, and that
yeah.
makes
Yeah.
it
Right.
less
That's not fun.
Yeah.
But hating Red Bull does make the sport fun. It's not fun to hate Red Bull and have them be this good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like hating like last year, fun to hate Red Bull because they were winning and losing sometimes, and it was actually close. This year, a little less fun. It's a little less
And
fun to
it's a
hate
little
Red Bull
less fun
because
to
they just
be a
win.
fan of Ferrari, for sure.
For sure.
For
But
sure.
that's sports. That's being a fan of sports. I hate the Yankees. I'm a lifelong baseball fan. It's fun to hate the Yankees because they're so
love the
good,
Yankees, but
and
go
when
on.
they're bad, it's also good. Like you got to relish both sides of it. Like when it's so
Yeah, because
You
they
know,
make you feel something. That's
yeah,
what sports
it's-
are supposed to do.
You got to feel something.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was the Italian Grand Prix 2022.
It's
go
weird.
ahead and-
For our pilot
ahead.
episode, I watched the sun rise as we recorded, and now I'm watching the sun set as we
That's
record.
beautiful.
That is beautiful.
I think that means the
Bookended.
show is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost over.
First episode and our last.
Let's rate this race the way we rate races here on the pit wall. Is if it is a good race, we give it a push. If it's a bad race, we give it a box. I'll go ahead and say I give this race a push. I didn't like the end, the safety car. No one liked how this race ended, but overall, I had a great time watching it. There was some really great racing happening. So I have to give it a push.
Yeah, I was initially going to give it a box, but looking at the positives, my boy Carlos Sainz absolutely crushing. Love to see it. My boy Nick DeVries on his debut, driver of the day. Arms not able to function afterwards. So proud of him. So for that reason, push.
I'm going to give it a box. Sorry to say it, but the safety car ruined it for me. That left a really bad taste, especially it would have been bad no matter what, but robbing Carlos of a rightful podium, I think actually makes the whole the race directors don't deserve a push this week. And I'm giving it a box.
They didn't direct. We didn't go motor racing.
No, we didn't go motor racing at all, Toto. And to have Stroll DNF, that I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Push. I loved seeing Daniel Ricciardo at least compete. For him to start at P4 or P3 or whatever it was a revelation. And I don't think I've never seen that other than in Drive to Survive. So enjoyed that. Carlos shoving his way to the top 5 was so much fun to watch. And then aside from that, there was the story of DeVries, DeVries, who did go to DeVries, I think. He did like CS or something. But I don't know, it was just like a cool side story that I knew nothing about, but the commentators did a good job explaining it, I think. And I was like, oh, good for him. And there was so many position changes. So and a lot of overtaking and stuff like that. So I liked it. I like this one better than the Dutch Grand Prix.
Yeah.
There was like a 10-minute period of that one where I kind of zoned out. This one I didn't zone out at all until the safety car kind of happened.
So that's the race. I'll go through the standings real quick. Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship has 335 points. He's in first. Charles Leclerc in second with 219 points. Sergio Perez in third with 210. George Russell in fourth with 203. Carlos Sainz in fifth with 187. And Lewis Hamilton is in sixth with 168. Those are your competitors for podiums this year.
And I don't understand the math, but Max could, in theory, win next race, which sucks.
I think the math for that just means like if all the competitors don't get any points and Max gets all the points.
Yeah, that's
then
kind of
wins,
what
But that's probably unlikely.
Right.
In the constructors,
I mean, for all intents and purposes, he has won.
Yeah. There was a good quote Max had before the race, which let me know that he was going to win.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "We don't have to win, but we want to win." And I was like, "This guy's going to win a race for sure."
He also
today.
said, "I'm not here to break hearts," which made me laugh for a full minute.
In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull is in first place with 545 points. Ferrari is in second with 406 points. Mercedes is in third with 371 points. And Alpine is in fourth with 125. McLaren's right behind them with 107. What I think is interesting about Alpine being in fourth for the Constructors' Championship, probably not going to get a podium. They're pretty far off. But they have no podiums this year at all. And they are in fourth place in the Constructors' Championship, which...
Talk about Mr. Consistencies.
Yeah.
It's just about finishing in the points, folks. DeVries style.
Nice.
So that's the race. Our final segments of the day. Hottie of the week. I think there's two hotties of the week, and it's the Ferrari boys. Ooh,
Doesn't
baby,
get hotter
I love
than
those
that.
yellow suits.
Yeah.
They're good.
And they're especially hot when they're sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that one shot of Verstappen like doing an interview, and then it was like zooming in past him as like Charles was like
Chugging water.
Yeah.
And they moved the camera to watch him and then moved back to Max. So good. Also, right
Devastating.
before that, I truly just went to screenshot it because it made me laugh
I
so
also
hard.
tried to, and it didn't work.
Charles is like sitting on the ground while Max is giving his interview, and Carlos comes and just fully like leans over to check on him like a dad, like after his son's t-ball game where they lost. It was very cute.
Carlos rules.
Yeah, definitely my hotties of the day. Also, I'm gonna throw in a wild Hugh Grant because he was there for some reason. Thought that was pretty
Sly
wild.
Stallone.
Yeah,
Don't sleep on Sly.
Stallone. Jeff, Jake, you guys got any hotties?
Mine was going to be Carlos's driving.
the
The way he drove
works.
was,
Yeah.
it was dominating. It was on the
Yeah.
offensive. It was, at some points, kind of offensive. It was really fun to watch, and so
Problematic.
is sex.
Sex is fun to watch.
Sex is fun.
So,
I mean, I agree that it's basically Ferrari and Carlos. I'll shout out De Vries because it's a nice way to step on the scene.
Yeah.
You want to like come into the party and not just. I feel like everybody would have been really ecstatic if he finished in 10th and got points.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
actually finished in 9th, which
Yeah.
is even a little bit better than that.
He lost
So,
his
respect.
virginity, and it was good sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. He
Two
like
things
lasted
to
a long
celebrate.
time.
Yeah.
Right.
Those
I
are
have a new pitch for the name of this next segment. Someone kindly
Let's
wrote
hear
in
it.
and asked for it to be changed, and even though I came up with the original name, I'll respect that. You know,
And I'll still be calling it the old name.
I have two pitches, and honestly, we can change these because they're not really race related.
But they are ethnicity related.
Okay, so it could either be the little rascal of the day or the little baddie of the day.
I don't think either of those, to be
Are
fair,
good.
connote the same. No, they're good. They're good. But the old one was more of like a sad sack.
Yeah.
Like you're a little fart.
Yeah, someone who
A
throws
little
a
baddie.
tantrum,
I
Baddie
feel
is-
like that's a troublemaker.
Yeah,
That's
Batty is like a hot person.
Yeah, baddie's been
Yeah.
co-opted to actually
like-
be positive, but
Little fucker of the week or little focker of the week.
Little Fokker of the week is pretty solid.
Little Fokker is
I
pretty good.
don't like little Fokker.
How about Wet Fokker?
Even worse, obviously.
Shit ass of the month of the day.
Tiny chit ass?
Yeah.
I can't. I also
Dickling?
can't think of like a good person or like thing to.
How about the word limp? So like limp turd.
Yeah.
I feel like that
Soft
could be
turd of the day.
that could
Limp
be bad
cock
too.
driver of the week.
Then it's Ricardo. I love the guy, but no matter what we name the segment, he's clearly that of the week. I think to win Monza last year and to fall so far that you have a DNF on it today and have your DNF not by any fault of his own, but like not even the car can't get out of gear. The safety car comes out. We have to finish under a safety car. I mean, my God, it's just like
it's
too pathetic. It's too pathetic.
it's so pathetic, but I also don't feel bad for him because he's getting paid like millions of dollars to not race for McLaren.
Yeah.
Zach Brown was like,
I mean, I do
I will
feel
give
bad.
you a
I do
full
feel
stack
bad
of
for him.
cash if you cut your contract early.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm happy that he's making the cash, but I feel bad for his status in the sport. His reputation is pretty bad.
I feel like everyone still loves him though, but it's whatever.
The
Anyway,
fans
if we
do.
can think
I don't
of
know if
another like F1 related person, like if it was like the Massey of the week, but I feel like that's tired. I don't know. Think on it.
We'll figure it out. Hey, and if
Over
you have
Slack.
a suggestion for what we should call whoever is like the big baby
We're so afraid to say bitch now. We said it last week.
With our chests.
One person wrote an email.
Yeah, I would also like to say it's gender neutral bitch, and only one person complained. I really like little bitch of the week.
Also, one of my favorite.
Marika came up with
one
it.
of my favorite
Marika
insults is to call people a punk ass bitch. So
That's also good.
yeah,
Punk ass bitch might feel better than little bitch.
Now we're all turning around.
Making it worse. What about fucking
I
whole
tried.
of the
Person that
month?
wrote
I
in,
tried.
this is their worst nightmare. We actually couldn't come up with anything better. So it is punk ass bitch.
nice.
Right.
Yeah,
She
if
obviously
you
had
have
a problem with the word lil.
suggestion for what we should call the punk ass bitch, the little bitch, the whiny baby, the little fucker of the week, whatever you think we should call him, let us know. My little fucker of the week is Alex Albon's appendix.
Get it.
Get it out of there.
Never want to see it again.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he's the hottie of the week because that's why we got DeVries.
DeVries.
The Nick with the
Interesting.
Y.
Who I don't know. Come
Mine
back
is-
to me.
Mine's the FIA. Red flag it next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Punk ass bitch.
That's what you wrote on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, I have mine. Mine this week are all of the commentators who kept, which I think it was Crofty, who kept saying that Ferrari was just asking their drivers for advice. Literally not true. So obviously not true, guys. It made
They
me
weren't
mad.
asking for advice.
All right, that'll do it for this week's pit wall. Coming up next, we have the Singapore Grand Prix,
Night?
October
Is it a night race?
2nd. I'm not sure what time
October
I
it
think
starts.
I think this one starts at 8 a.m. Eastern, and I think Japan is 1 a.m. So good for
Wow.
you guys.
Yes.
Terrible for us. Although
Watching it live.
Finally,
1 a.m.
our
Kidding
time to
me?
shine.
There you
Marika,
go.
just pour some Amaro Montenegro, right, on ice with a side of nice racing.
all I have is a Verna, baby.
Averna's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Thanks
keep
for
that on the
listening.
floor?
Yes. No, it's on my bar cart.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everybody. This is the pit wall, and
To all.
no, that's right. Vroom vroom to all, and to all a beep beep.
Yeah. So
Nice.
good.
That was a Headgum original.